Special Olympic Torch Run will be running through Mason County. We've been talking a lot about it over the months here, and it is gearing up. It's, before you know it, next week, and I have Chief Criminal Deputy from the Mason County Sheriff's Office, Ryan Spurling, in studio this morning. Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good to see you here. And also, Kaleb is sticking in for this conversation because we're going to talk about the Torch Run, and one of the legs was through the high school, and so you had a good firsthand, right there, front row seat to see that last year.
I did.
So, Ryan, first things first, good morning, and how are things coming along with the preparation and everything
Going well. We've got some teams that have signed up. We still have a few people that like to sign up the last minute, so we'll get those. We'll get the legs all filled this week, I'm sure. But it's a pretty big event for us, and we're pretty excited. You know, the Law Enforcement Torch Run has been around since 1981, and I've been involved in law enforcement for 30 years. And my first time running it was when I was a trooper over in Eastern Washington, and it was a little different at that point. It was more task-oriented, and what I mean by that was we felt that the torch had to go the entire distance because it was about getting the torch across your area. So I can remember running it up Highway 10 along the river between Ellensburg and Cle Elum, and there was nobody out there. We were just running these long stretches and nobody out there. And it's kind of, for at least us, it's transitioned more to, it's not so much about covering every inch across the county as much as it is spreading awareness and getting people in the community involved so they can show their support. And that was the really, really cool thing about last year when we went through the North Mason High School, and all three of those schools on that campus were out there with their bands, and to see the kids cheering for athletes within their own school was really cool too. And then some of the other community events we went through, the Alderbrook and their whole staff was out cheering for us, and then we went around the prison and their staff was out. And it was cool because Kaleb was talking to me earlier, and he was one of the students when we went through the Shelton High School parking lot, and that's why I asked him to come out and kind of relay his information as a student from his perspective.
Yeah, how was that, watching that come through the campus?
It was pretty good because, you know, those students don't always get a lot of recognition or a lot of support, so to see the whole Shelton High School campus out there cheering them on, and you can just see the joy on their faces as they're running through everybody, and they're just excited.
How is the path of the race changed from last year to this year, and where, if folks are interested in either donating money for the great cause or even getting in on the running, how do we do this?
Well, you can either buy a Law Enforcement Torch Run t-shirt, which is one of the major ways that they sponsor this and raise funds for it, or you could just give donations at the Sheriff's Office in the North Precinct or at the South Precinct down in downtown Shelton. You can also get online and donate that way as well. You get into Law Enforcement Torch Run Washington or Special Olympics Washington, and you'll have the right tabs to go to. Now, the course, the first question you had was, how's the course changed? We've actually eliminated some of those long stretches out in the middle of nowhere where nobody's there and is able to get involved, and we included different community groups. It's hard to hit everybody, but we are running through Lake Limerick and that community group now. We are running through the Alderbrook community area, so we've changed a few of those areas, and again, we're going to run around the prison. It's been really fun having the Department of Corrections be involved because oftentimes they're dealing with a part of society that sometimes is a little discouraging to deal with. And now they get to be part of a real positive thing, giving back to the community with these kids that they get so excited. I mean, it about brings me to tears when you see the pure joy of these kids getting cheered for and getting included and getting the recognition. They're just delightful. It's really a cool thing.
How does this tie in and key into the greater nationwide Torch Run? And then I know as we get closer to the actual Special Olympics, it's going to be prominently here in the great state, and a lot of it's going to be happening just across the bridge in Pierce County. In Cheney and things like that.
Yes, this is the final leg, and the national one for the United States is in the Tacoma, Seattle, UW, PLU. They're having different events at different locations. So this is the last leg of that national one. And worldwide, there's 97,000 law enforcement officers that get involved in this, and that's just mind-boggling.
Wow.
And law enforcement has really taken this up because, much like with Department of Corrections, oftentimes we will deal with people that are not making the best decisions in their life, and that gets discouraging to see that part of society sometimes all the time. So to be positively involved is a real important thing for us as well, and it's a way we can give back to the community in that positive way.
Last year, with the help of Troy Jasmine from Computer Creations Northwest, he put together a powerful video that really put the spotlight on you guys and all the runners in the county, and picked up and focused heavily at the national celebration down in Tennessee. Isn't that right?
Yes, it actually got recognition to the point where the sheriff and Chief Eric were invited and paid for to go back to the big conference in Tennessee. So they sponsored them to come back, and it was featured, from what I understand, as one of the examples of how to make a video, because it focused on community involvement, and Troy really focused on that when he put the video together, and he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, he did. So we are looking at next Thursday. It is the 31st. The start of the run gets kicked off once again in the North End?
Yes, at 8 o'clock in the Safeway parking lot, and then we're going to just run a short leg, as long as there's sidewalk there, down towards the North Precinct, and then we'll ferry everybody up to the high school, and then we'll run around the high school, and then from there we'll move on, and we start back up near Mason Lake, and then we'll go around Lake Limerick, and then we come back McEwen Prairie and McCreevy out to Alderbrook, down through that community, and then back up to the prison, and then to the Shelton High School, and then through Shelton. We take it to the yacht club, and then the Squaxin tribe takes it on the boat, takes it around to Wildcat Cove, and then we come out and we'll run through the Squaxin tribal area, and we finish at the Little Creek Casino.
I gotta just imagine that the uniqueness of the county, just the way it's laid out, and then the fact that you've got the tribes involved, you've got the boat ride portion of the run, it's probably one of the more unique courses across the state, if not the whole country.
It is, it is. We have such a diverse county with 300 miles of saltwater waterfront, 200 lakes. You know, you can't really go anywhere without hitting water.
Yeah.
So, and the tribal involvement, I think, is rather unique, and our sheriff has just worked so hard over the years to build such a good relationship and maintain that relationship, because they're so valuable to us. We're in a county where there's only one incorporated city, so these two tribal agencies are really critical to our ability to do our job and have some additional assistance, and they're just an important part of our community, so it's great to have them be involved.
How close do you stick to the timeline? So we'll put the the locations of all the run routes and things on the website, so people, if they want to get out and cheer along and celebrate along. Last year, you guys stayed pretty close to the.
Last year, we were almost on the button.
Wow.
I was, but that was Chief Osterhout, and he's since retired, and this is the first time that I did it. So we'll see how close we are. Hopefully, we'll be at least within that window, because I'll own it this year.
Very nice. Chief Criminal Deputy Ryan Spurling talking about next week's Torch Run. So it'll be all throughout the county, and we'll have more information through this week and next on where the route will be and how you can get out and cheer on the runners for sure. Good to see you, Ryan.
Hey, good to see you. Thank you
nice
for advertising this for the kids.